What's up, you guys? Today we're going to be doing another Fallout 4 settlement building video, and we're going to be showing you how to do a basic trading post. Now when I say basic, I mean this is easy to do. Anybody should be able to do this build without too much difficulty. I didn't even use any rug glitches or anything crazy to get the build started. So any level you should be able to do this, and yeah. So I started first by doing the front porch area because I wanted to see how it was going to look like from the front before I continued building it, because I wasn't actually sure I wanted to keep it in this location. So I just messed around with these a little bit, find the way that I like them the best, and continue on from there. So from here I want to get some basic wood structures down. So you can add another layer of floors if you want to have easy walls that clip on, or you can just do what I'm doing here, which is seeing where the little line ends and matching it up to the best of my ability. I later actually have to move this just a little bit because it's a little bit too close to the edges and I can't end up putting wall pieces on the sides there. So I would look out for that too if I were you. So I also was trying to decide between if I wanted to do some sort of like window type situation or if I just wanted to make it like the broken boards. And I decided the broken boards because if this was a real trading post, the person who was working there wouldn't want all their stuff to get stolen, and they would probably want to keep their valuables in at least a slightly safer location. So I decided that I was going to go with that. Instead of doing windows everywhere, I would just have 2 windows in the front so I can have the trader towards the back and have all of the supplies around with the least expensive things near the windows. So I try to make my settlements as realistic as possible when I do them. And for this back, I realized that when you use the regular walls without the little extra roof piece attached to them, that they're much shorter. And sometimes when you have the much shorter roof pieces, you can't do what you want to do with them. It just doesn't end up working or clipping the right way, and then you have a little gap between the wall and the roof, and nobody likes that. So that is what I ended up having to do. And here's what I was talking about with the wall pieces. So sometimes you can't get these in the exact perfect spot, and then you won't be able to clip in one of these side ones. The only wall pieces I really have a problem with in the wood section, obviously the concrete's a little bit more difficult to work with, but when it comes to wood, the only time I ever have an issue is when I'm using these window walls and trying to put the little wooden pieces of wall on the side of it. So from here, the next important step was building a roof. Now, I don't like to use the same roof piece over and over again. I like it to look a little bit more cohesive than that. So for this one, I decided that I would use the wood piece that had the little blanket near on the side where I had the blanket covering the window there. And then I decided that I was going to do these 2 things here and kind of expand it out as a longer wall. I wanted there to be some sort of entryway into the area, so I decided I would just like dip it in a little bit, connect the 2 walls there, and then eventually add a door frame in that middle section. So when it comes to the ceiling bits, I did these front ones pointing up, and then I tried to do some flat roof pieces, but when you do the flat roof pieces, you notice that there's that little gap. And the way to fix that gap is to get rid of any of the wall pieces that do not have the tall floor as well. So make sure that when you're building, you know if your ceilings are going to work on your floors. A good way to do that is just make a little square with wall pieces and just put a roof on it and see if there's any spots that are sticking up or any spots where there are empty space that you need to fill up. And obviously when you have a trading post, you're going to need your trader. I personally cannot wait until there's a mod that I can use on the PS4 to fix what the rank 3 trading post looks like, because I don't like how any of the rank 3 stores look at all. I really hate that there's just those 2 pieces sticking out on the sides and no decoration on them at all. It just looks like this empty, horrible, non-decorated thing, and that just kind of looks weird wherever you put it. So I ended up going with the second tier of the trading post because I do the second tier of everything just because I end up liking how it looks the best, and it's still pretty good and keeps settlers fairly happy. So for here, I just decided that I was going to do like a little display, like, you know, when you go to a fair and there's the people who sell art and it's just kind of all on the walls. I wanted it to be something like that kind of feel. So I decided that I would use some pictures and even some metal signs and things like that so that I could just decorate the outer area and make it look like somebody was hanging things up that they'd like to sell. So these are going to be outside of where I eventually end up putting the door, and then everything else that is something that would be available for purchase is behind the door. One thing I found that really makes settlements look lived in and realistic is stacked boxes. So when you use crates, you can stack any of them on top of each other. I usually just use the shipping crates when I do that, but I thought that those would look really nice. And then you can even add little tags that'll have the names of what's in the boxes, and it just makes it look a lot more real in the area. So I wanted to make sure that I had that, as well as just some nice shelving and cabinets like that little bar and this little table here, just so that there are things for me to put the junk on, because as you guys probably know, my decorating is very junk oriented. I want to use all the junk, I want to put it everywhere. So for me, the stuff that you use in the workshop mode is just basically the foundations for what I'm going to build, and then I end up really making it come to life with actual in-game items. Here's where I finally decided to put in the door. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do for the entryway at first. I thought maybe just leaving it open and then adding turrets, but then I was like, nah, I think this place needs like at least a door. So instead of making it anything too crazy, I just decided I would do a see-through little shop door there, and I add a bunch of rugs just for looks and just because settlers love them more than anything. More than life itself, settlers love rugs. And from here on out, I am officially done using workshop mode to decorate the store. If you're not interested in seeing me putting every single little piece of junk down, just click the annotation in front of you and it'll take you to the final view of the video. If you do want to see me put all the junk down, just keep on watching. I'm not going to talk over this because there's not really anything to say about this other than I pick up lots of little things and put them everywhere, and it takes forever, but the finished product is always so worth it, and I really wouldn't do a settlement any other way. So from here, we are completely finished. Now, for a trading post, I would have really liked to have had this even more stuffed to the brim, just stuff thrown everywhere, things put all over the place. But right now I just didn't have the time or the materials to really make it crazy. So this is really what I got. This is the bare bones, what I'm happy with, what I feel like a good trading post looks like, and I really hope you guys enjoy this. If you want to build this in your settlement, please tell me in the comments below. I would love to know that you built it, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video, and I really hope you enjoyed this. Bye guys.